Why, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. My name is DB333, and welcome back to Hearts of Iron 4, the New Order last days Europe as a Euro military district. In the last video, we saw the front finally win their war, and we're about to eat them. Do they even have their new tree yet? They finally got their new tree. And, right as they were about to start their new tree, we're about to eat them. That's nice. We didn't get any of their free factories. Didn't get any bonuses at all. This land's probably undeveloped. It's low-key probably going to be kind of crap. In comparison to what we've been able to do. Because we were able to get our shit together and not lose to a bunch of Nazi LARPers. To hope, to Russia. Let's get eyes inside the machine. The most regrettable incidents in the Siberian Wars was the degree to which the enemy was able to infiltrate our ranks. No part of our stately was safe from the civilian sector to the military. Spies were a constant danger to our operations. With the establishment of the ISB, we were able to put a stop to most of madness. Now that the region has been unified, we face larger threats than ever before. And currently, the ISB is in no state to handle them. Therefore, we will direct increased funding to the ISB to help them expand their operations. This time, we'll no longer cower behind defenses and root out infiltrators out to spot them. The ISB will find itself on the offensive, launching daring espionage missions into enemy territory, using highly advanced computing technologies to break their codes. The Bureau will become our vigilant eyes and ears, and threats to the nation will never go undetected again. There we go. And after so long, we did it, guys. Whew. I believe that is every unit that they have. We'll change them to our 20 wits. And we're going to gain a lot, actually, from that. Yeah. We flat out have some guys who don't have portraits. I remember this guy's supposed to be from Comey. I'm guessing this guy's probably also supposed to be from Comey. We got some solid field marshals, actually. I'm impressed. Zukov, of course. Let's get Kuzma Galitsky. Gets the infantry leader bonus. We don't have political power, actually. Got all of this stuff. That's all well and good. Civil war in Yemen, who'd have thunk it? The Stockholm Conference succeeds. Honestly, I might just go ahead and click this just to move on and do something else. I'll read these last two focuses real quick. Our improvements... Actually, I mean, we probably have a little bit of time. I think we're on part 9. I'm hoping it finishes up by part 10. So we probably have a bit of time. And if we need to, we'll do some magic to nom either of these guys up. Seems Irkutsk is winning. Slightly, but it's noticeable. Let's get even better artillery. And we're done with that. Don't notify me about any of that. Eyes in the machine. Offensive line. Do a little of that. Let's get revolutionary designs going. Our improvements to armor of tanks is already seen promising indeed, but you can only modify those ancient piles of junk for so long before several flaws begin to emerge that cannot be fixed by welding on even more spaced armor. Design forces need new, modern designs to go to battle with, and our current models simply won't do it. Both the refurbished tank plant at Sverdlovsk and the Ural automotive plant at our disposal. We can and will do better. Our technicians, some of the most brilliant minds of your generation, will go and soon find themselves hard at work designing the armored vehicles of tomorrow. New improved tanks outfitted with laser munitions and armor designs will dominate the battlefield, while modernized IFVs will carry our troops into the fray and support them with enough firepower to level a city block. We have nothing in the way of manpower. Honestly, kind of makes sense, I'm not gonna lie. Not too surprised about that. Better tanks. Let's go work on all of those. A couple of these too. A little bit of that. A little bit of this. What's gonna be the best integrate? I think Perm's pretty good state to go with, so we'll work on integrating Perm. Yeah, we'll go with Perm. Now, we got a lot to integrate, though. But, real quick, Invincible and Legendary. Comrades, the forms are nearly complete. Our troops have finally earned their status as the most well-trained professional fighting force in all of Russia. From the tank fleet grows by the day, the indomitable war machine of the Urals has finally sprung to life after nearly 2 decades of slumber. It took a great deal of time and effort, but the Red Army has been transformed into a truly modern force, more than ready to face whatever challenges the future is in store for them. Uniting West Siberia was only the start of our journey. Soon we'll turn the attention of the total liberation of the entire country. The people of Russia cry out for justice, and the Red Army is dutifully willing to answer the call. Our invincible troops will become a nightmare to the would-be tyrants of this broken land, and our legendary generals will be the ones to lead them to victory. So when we talk about legendary, we got some legendary fellas. I would say fel ladies, but I don't think we have any female generals. We're not quite progressive enough for that. After that, Samara will be a good one to integrate. From there, I'm not really sure. Maybe Gorky. Yeah, Gorky would be good. Gorky, I know Samara has. Ooh. Samara has a good fair bit of stuff. I think this all is including the Samara region. Yeah, 5 whole states. That's good to integrate. Probably should not have spent all that political power. But hey. With that, we are invincible, we are legendary, and we are the Russian People's Union. Let's exert some influence in Kazakhstan. Can't do anything other than invade them, so we'll have to hold off on that for a bit. Whew. This all looks pretty good. Let's get a union of the people. Under the leadership of High Marshal Batov and the Council of Generals, destiny has been generous to us, and we have grasped it. West Russia has been reunited under one banner. However, now is not the time for too much celebration. There is still much work to be done beyond just reunification. Our administration is stretched to its limits, and we must work fast to quickly integrate the people of West Russia into a burgeoning state. We have endured so much worse up to this point that our presented obstacles are nothing. Thus, let us march on with ever greater resolve, knowing that we can and will be victorious. Get some more political power. It'll be very nice, because God knows we're going to need some to core up a lot of stuff soon. Ho Chi Minh is dead. Samara, integrate that. And look at all that manpower. That is beautiful right there. And then to wonders. Only so long those could have lasted. Now we got our own stuff going on. Digging the music above top secret, I'll take it. Vyaka. I think that'll be an okay one. And then Probably Vologda as well. They'd moved Batov to a new office when they took West Russia, a bigger, more opulent one. Did he deserve it? Batov would have said no. The office was paid for by the blood and sweat of his men. He did not look forward to the bigger office if he unified Russia. More blood, more death. It was hard to focus on the victories rather than the mistakes that inevitably happened. Friendly fire incidents, faulty equipment, failure of intelligence, and just bad misfortune. It didn't feel right to excuse oneself by rationalizing it all as a learning experience. Enemy councils were competent at war planning and strategy, but would it be enough? Would they finally reunite Russia and one day retake Moscovian? The phone rang and he picked it up. Sir, Council of Generals have been convened and would like your presence. Of course, I'll be right there. Tov hung up the phone and grabbed the things he needed for the meeting. All the worrying could wait. There is still work to be done. Well, I think with that, let's get working on restoring Russia. We're actually going to need this for coring time. West Russia's definitely had the worst of things when it came to terror bombings and the chaos fed after the West Russian War. The people here deserve better, which is why proper integration is of the highest priority at this moment. The Russian people's unions must be sustainable before it can be strong, and right now we are overstretched. We'll draw upon a plan to properly build up the region and to once again bring order to these lands. Works for me. Yeah, I can't undo these. Makes sense. I don't know if I actually ever tried to undo that. Any of that. Makes sense that I cannot. Early fighters. Let's get some early cast going. Do we already have cast going? We do not, strangely enough. It's weird. It's usually something I'm on better. Speaking of getting on better, light aircraft, jet fighters, jet engines. What's the deal with them? The next generation ought to be good. It's time for a new wave of recruitment to replace the casualties sustained since all the unification conflicts. Should be easy to cook up a new recruiting campaign. Our copyrights already have a catchy name. The next generation. The focus would be on our professionals. I'm no longer a group of conscripts with rusty rifles, but we are now perhaps one of the most competent armies in all of Russia. There's proper logistical support, real training from veterans, and most importantly, proper compensation. The future of Russia's security is here. Will you be part of the next generation? I don't know, will you? What is Bormann doing? The Oriental Concern. Interesting stuff. A little bit too much NPPL support for comfort, but so be it. Pavel Batov was signing paperwork when the door to his office opened and clicked. It was Ivan Braverman, his second in command, most importantly his closest friend. Closest living friend, that is. It was still hard to think of Konstantin as dead sometimes. Made Batov wonder if the man who would approve of his recently rather heterodox thoughts. Called for me, comrade? Yes, I did. Have a seat. Apologies for short notice, but I have something I need to get off my chest. Anything, comrade. Is the paperwork getting to you? Batov shook his head with a small, almost sad smile. No. Nothing like that. I was just thinking, this Russian People's Union we've created, to be very honest, is not really a social state, is it? And we still call ourselves a Red Army and probably spit a hammer and sickle. It's peculiar, isn't it? So then I thought, why continue to do such unnecessary things? Surely there are better uses for our time and energy than playing at being something we aren't for long dead men. A silence fell between the two, and before Braverman could respond, Batov started laughing, making Braverman crack a polite, confused smile. I'll never mind what I've said, Ivan Kristoforik. Let's leave the future to tomorrow, and let's talk about the past for today. How long has it been since we've spoken just the two of us? Was it the Battle of Moscow? No, it was over in Samara, comrade. Samara, that's right. We should go visit sometimes. Dan is imploding. Not much of a surprise there. Tokyo standoff and next generation. Could get better pensions. How's our poverty going? Oh my god! Let's hold off on working getting anything to end poverty. Actually, this will carry over no matter what, but why we fight? War's a terrible thing, and no man easily salivates after death as men do after caviar. The people of Russia need a reason to fight. The Council of Generals has approved a propaganda campaign to remind our people why we continue onwards without stop. Our quest for reunification is not yet over. One half of Russia still remains out of our grasp, Moscovian is still under fascist control, and Russia is still weak. They are Herculean tasks, but we must try. Therefore, we send out the best artists to draft and design new slogans, posters, and other forms of media, so that, once again, the Russian people may be united under one flag. Get the propaganda going. Manpower, we got plenty of it. What's going to be good to integrate next? Gorky. It's only going to be Gorky versus Kazan. Might as well do Kazan then. And then probably Sverdlovsk. Or Sverdlovsk. Syktyvkar. Komi. There we go. God, we have nothing. That's what I'm talking about. War economy is really screwing us there. Although the other integrations certainly aren't helping much, admittedly. Wow, we fight. It's getting kind of chilly. I should probably close windows. Got some good old water vapor playing. Let's check the Council's plans. Beyond properly reintegrating the West Russian regions, the Council has decided to properly convene to design the strategic plans for how best to do things. High Marshal Batov and the other members of the Council will be meeting for a week-long conference. In an early analysis, the majority of obstacles seem to be more civilian-related, which would come with its own challenges. Thus, it would be important to have the proper goals and principles before embarking on reinforcement and proper implementation. There we go. The war is kind of grinded to a nothing. Seems it's taken over one state. That's really about it. Let's get better artillery. Speaking of better artillery, let's get the advanced stuff going. Honestly, we might just want to save up and go to war with Kazakhstan. And then, well, let's have the rest of them prepare for an offensive into potentially Tomsk. One more thing, Comrade Eisner. Do you have the forms for new uniforms? I could have sworn they were supposed to come by yesterday. It was Kreiser's time to swear now. I think I got them, Batov, but I don't know where they were, so I just put them on my desk. I'm sorry, let me go get them. Kreiser opened up the desk, removing various sheets of paper in the drawer when he came upon an old faded picture and paused. It was a picture of him, his parents and uncles, at his bar mitzvah. Whatever happened to them, he wondered, when his heart began to sink. He hadn't heard of them since the war began, which meant... No. It couldn't have happened. Not to them. By God, not to them. Batov was going to ask Kreiser what was taking him so long when he saw him staring at the picture and forgot about the forms for a minute as all the fates of his family sink in. Batov sat in the office for what seemed like an eternity before Kreiser began to speak. How long will it take, comrade? How long will it take until we get back at the Krauts for everything that they took from us? Batov blinked. Soon. But we have work to do first. Remember that. We have a motherland to reunify. And one day, everyone in our nation can avenge what has been lost, comrade. remember that one day. Do grants for academia, more political power. Helps with the poverty rate, so we'll hold off from that. Let's do freedom from oppression. Mother Russia will need all the help in the wars to come, so why does she relegate her daughters to be at home? The time has come to open up the restrictions to women in combat roles. We already serve diligence in real echelon roles, and makes no sense to restrict women from frontline duty if they meet the high standards of training. High Marshal Batov has been briefed on this and demands that these restrictions be lifted immediately. Shit, is there anyone we can promote real quick? Ooh, infantry expert, that would be great. Winter expert, not bad actually. Offensive, there we go. There we go, not wasting that command power. Is there anything else we can promote? This guy we can. Galitsky, infantry expert, beautiful. The second day of a conference, let's try to get all these guys. So we really only need these guys, actually. Get them training. Second day of conference, Batov had thought the entire conference was in bad shape. But another day of arguing how best to go forwards, which problems were most pressing, how best to do this, and the like. Sometimes heated, and other times bone-crushingly boring. Batov would have been lying to say that he was attentive all the time. Right before the end of another frustrating day, Pavel Batov stood up and asked the men to go back to their seats. Gentlemen, although it's merely 2 days, I find our progress lackluster. I'm speaking now to remind you that the people of Russia rely on us to get this right. More than half of the issues plaguing our territory are not military-related. As such, I must emphasize, we cannot approach them in a military manner. He wished he'd written out more of a speech before having all those eyes on him. Before him were strategists, tacticians, logistical experts, but not a single civilian. But he continued. We cannot afford to be stubborn here. We cannot crush poverty beneath tank treads. Yes, officially we make the final decisions, but we must lean into civilian leadership, the specialized expertise we possess. The strength of the Russian people is a strength beyond military strength. It is now our chance to prove that. One day when Russia is reunified, when the Nazis plague our lands no longer, the people of Russia will have the luxury of beating our swords into their plowshares. One day, when the rest of the world sees the nation of Russia, what will they see? I hope they see a formerly humiliated and war-torn people who, against all odds, that voice crack, Jesus, stood up with a courage and determination to forge a better future. The applause was thunderous. A decrease in poverty, I'll drink to that. And so we'll why am I blanking on the name, goddammit? So we'll Yeltsin in the next series. I'm hoping I'm actually going to be able to stream that. My internet's been shitty for a while. Every time I try to stream, it ends up not letting me. It lets me for a while, and then give it 20 minutes, the internet will cut out. And then it'll come back on, and the stream will reboot. And then it goes for another 10, 15, cut out, and then it keeps cutting out quicker and quicker until it connects, and then it disconnects, reconnects, and disconnects all over again. At dawn's not just the night that dies, it's man is becoming, and the warm blood staining the pavement is a word that's just starting. Riccardo Monarini, Hot Autumn Ends. It's the funkiest terrorist attack I have ever heard. Damn. That was a weird sentence I just said. But we'll go with it. Price controls. Let's do it. The economic situation is dismal in the Russian People's Union. The Council has had many heated discussions with the best economic experts on how to best move forward, but the Council has decided to overrule their free market suggestions, much to their dismay. Price controls will be set in place for basic necessities such as food, fuel, and water to combat inflation. To placate the economists, the Council has explained time and again that these are but temporary measures and new long-term options may be implemented in the future, but stability is a primary priority as of now. I mean, so be it, I guess. You got a lot of solid potential. God, they really did nothing with any of this, did they? almost none of this land has anything. Look at Samar. It has one factory. Granted, that's because the Samar machine is broken, so that doesn't help much. Samar is just outright broken in this patch. Which kind of sucks if you want to play Samara. I don't know many people who do. Granted, I mean, I have. It's an okay enough game. I played, it's on YouTube. What's his name? Bunyachenko. Fun enough game, I guess. Wasn't a lot of people's favorite, which makes sense, but I thought it was passable. Let's get some grants for academia. Few ever pity a fool, and if things do not change, Russia as a nation will remain a nation of fools. So many years of anarchy and terror bombings have permanently set back the Russian people from proper progress. We have no delusion to think that we would instantly catch up with superpowers in Germany, Japan, or even the far shores of the US, but the time to start is now. Our council decided to consult the academics about the first steps and have recommended providing grants to incentivize the populace. Let's hope that these investments will pay us great dividends. These guys really aren't doing shit, it seems. Neither are these guys, really. So we have good relations with the Ma clique, interestingly enough. Because they're trade partners, okay. We're trading with the Ma clique. That's funny. I like that. Here's some, let's appeal to the populace, then. For the most part, West Russia has accepted our new administration, but there remain a few insurgent holdouts. The military front, our best men, are trying to dislodge any strongholds that may yet remain, but counterinsurgency is much less about bombs or bullets, more about hearts and minds. The sorry people of Russia's anarchy have suffered too long under tyrannical strongmen and warlords. Fair, we ourselves are not a civilian institution, but we have no plans to be tyrannical. Even the Council of Generals hopes that one day Russia may be ruled without martial law. However, the people of West Russia do not know this. Beyond words and propaganda, however, the Council of Generals recommends action to build trust. We hope to integrate civilian advice and input within our ever-growing administration, and going forward, the people know that. I think we'll save up to go into Kazakhstan, attack them, and then from there, gotta move on. More tanks, wonderful. Let's get the advanced tanks coming in. Good times. Good times. In Mother Russia. Appealing to the populace. Let's reintegrate the remnants. It was a pity that the First West Russian War did not take back Moscovian, but we will never stop applauding our predecessors, the Revolutionary Front. They were a truly veritable army, and our hope is that they would come from the cold. True, the People's Union is no longer an organization based upon Marxist-Leninist principles, but no doubt we would hope that those old soldiers would reconsider. Those who are still young enough to fight may still yet have the value as non-commissioned officers. Even veterans who are not fit for frontline combat who have survived would be a valuable asset as members in our officer corps. The ISB has also been collecting leads. There are rumors that some ex-commanders are hiding under new aliases since reunification. Let's use our intelligence assets and find them. We mean no harm towards any members of the front. In fact, from one group of old soldiers to another, all we wish to do is give them one more chance to reunite Russia and to drive out the fascists from Moscovian. Certainly a nice idea. I'm curious what's going to happen because we already have them in our armies. So I'm not sure what's supposed to happen. Let's do that. Our research is looking very nice, I gotta say. Schooling could be better, but we're getting out of that hole the best we can. Agriculture, poverty rates. War of Angola. I don't think that's supposed to be the party. I guess I don't know. But I don't think that's supposed to be right. Let's secure some heavy industry. Though all men were nearly given stern orders to prevent collateral damage, much of the fighting has rendered heavy machinery in factories in West Russia offline. It's one thing to prevent damage to factories, another to restart them. The Council of Generals has passed executive action for our existing industry to focus on providing necessary components and items needed to restart the offline factories. I'll take the extra GDP growth. I will. That's our deficit. It is $16 billion. Jesus. The capital of the Russian People's Union. 2 men were being escorted to high stairs upon Batov's office. The guards looked bored, as if they were escorting yet another 2 dignitaries being brought up to the High Marshal. The 2 men, however, were confused and dazed. The break of dawn, both of them this morning were suddenly woken by angry knocking at the door. At the door were serious-looking ISB agents asking for Sergei Akromiev and Alexander Altunin, respectively. When the 2 men met up at Batov's headquarters, the 2 gave each other a look which just asked, how did Batov and his men find out their real names and new addresses? The 2 ex-front generals followed their guards into the office of High Marshal Batov. He dismissed the guards and asked the 2 men to sit down. He clasped his hands together and began. Was the trip comfortable? Did anyone mistreat you on your trip here? Because I could have them court-martialed if so. The 2 men sitting there were silent and seemed nervous. Anywho, you're probably wondering why I have you here today. Both ex-Revolutionary Front high-ranking generals. No, I'm not here to arrest the 2 of you. I want to make a deal. What sort of deal? Join the Russian People's Union on the general staff. We need the help. All the help we can get in the coming days. Both of your experience would be incredibly valuable and would be appreciated. Would you 2 be interested? After all, we are still the Red Army. The 2 men looked at each other. Akromiev then said, give us a few days to think about it. Take all the time you need, so long as the final answer is yes. That's not intimidating at all. Military intervention. Man, we're just ahead on everything, it seems, so far. Uh-oh. The wave of warrior is to be found in dying. Yamamoto Tsunetomo. It is down to this. Any second. And, yep. Well, time has come again to warm relations with our wealthy and powerful patrons across the ocean, the United States. We've already established former diplomatic relations as a regional power, and the time has come to deepen our relations. Further economic or military support would do much to help us reunify Russia. As such, we are planning a diplomatic visit to the United States with High Marshal Batov leading the procession. We hope to remind our backers that the previous support was not in vain, and neither would our future requests be wasted either. Our diplomats are already beginning to draft a few of our economic and political concessions for their aid. May our visit be received well. Is this where we're going to get the little events? Snowbatov has 1. That is very nice. Work on tanks and new artillery, because that's really what we need. Could work on more guns, just because I'm starting to realize that that's the genocide guy, right? Well, let me check. Yep, that's the genocide guy. That is very much the guy who does genocide. Free civilian factories. Well, let's get working on the West, I think, is the best bet. Build up Arkhangelsk. Let's do some stuff in Vologda. And we really need to get working on some infrastructure in Samara, the territory formerly known as Samara. Kubyshev now. Let's get freedom from persecution. For far too long, Russia's been a lawless wasteland, with it carved up between bandit lords, fascists, and other wicked men. It was a free-for-all, but the average person got it worse. Might makes right, as those wicked men say, but no more. Although our Russia will be a mighty one, it will also be a fair one. Our leading legal theorists are now tasked with rehauling our legal system. It must scale up to include these larger populations and territories, so while making the courts more fair and less corrupt. The Council of Generals has recommended certain legal goals for the theorist: a more fluid appeal system, offering military service in exchange for lighter sentences, more use of jury trials, the list goes on. In our quest for justice of all of Russia, we mustn't neglect the people, justice of Russia's people. Let it be done. You can go, let's integrate. Probably what? Brzezinski, no. Gainey. That's it. That's what I was thinking about. Batov had made it to Washington. He did the customary diplomatic song and dance, giving presents, sing the magic words to beg for the leaders of the country. He was a soldier, no more, no less, and he didn't feel suited for this sort of work. He felt he was wasting his time here. Yes, the work was important, but he wished only that someone else could have done it. It was all very exhausting until the man from Washington brought him to Arlington. A tour guide led Batov and his entourage throughout the cemetery. Batov was as solemn as he could be, as they were essentially passing through hollowed ground. Some graves were as old as the Civil War, and others were as recent as the South African War. He marveled about how clean the graves were, and the effort put into maintaining the grounds. It was mostly uneven and uneventful, save for the translator telling him the comments from the tour guide about the history and background of the cemetery. For their final trip of the way, he had arrived at the tomb of the unknown soldier. The tour guide had explained how the monument was in remembrance of a U.S. soldier whose remains could not be identified, but would be remembered nonetheless. The guide had timed for their explanation well, since when he finished, it had been time for the changing of the guard. The entire entourage watched with bated breath as a sentinel did each and every step of the routine, with pinpoint accuracy, precision, and timing. When it was all done, Batov had said something to his translator, asked for the bathroom, and promptly left with his guards. "Well, what did the High Marshal say to you?" The Americans asked the translator, curious of what prompted such a sudden departure after a total sunset tour. "The High Marshal is very grateful that you have had the generosity to show him Arlington Cemetery. He had excused himself to be alone for a few moments. He will be back shortly." "Well, what do you think of Arlington?" "He was deeply moved and told me he wished the people of Russia could do the same. A soldier does not weep. He sobs." Damn, that's a good event. Rodion could remember that day in the court as he thought it was as though it was yesterday. He had said too much to the police, his lawyer tried his best, and it was a simple deal from the judge: 5 years of hard labor or 2 in the frontline combat unit as punishment. He chose the second option. At the training camp, he was assigned to Misfit Company. It was a penal unit full of former criminals and convicts, murderers, thieves, captured bandits, none of them innocent. Well, a few claimed otherwise, about how the juries were brain dead, their lawyers were useless, how the military judges of the Russian People's Union had just had it out for them. When the jesters and funny men got around to ask him what got him in this unit, he answered honestly: "That was my last job. Everything was perfect to steal the money, and we got caught. A rat sold us out." The jokers frowned in a rare moment of pity, for a fellow thief before one blurted out, "Huh, we can still use your skills. No one of odd jobs around here, especially when the regulars have got all the nice rations." The other men laughed and hollered at that. Over the din of mirth, another one chimed in, "Rodion, is it? More like Raskolnikov." Rodion grinned and replied, "I'm sorry, I don't steal from old grandmas like you." The barrack erupted in hollering and laughter. We few, we marry few. Next we'll do freedom from annihilation. Our conflicts have run the entire gamut from anti-bandit raids to counterinsurgency patrols to full-blown conventional war with regional warlords. Our armed forces are already blessed with proper discipline and training, and we hope that if we make some issues clear on the theoretical level, that we may begin to formalize it into everyday tactics. Therefore, the leading military experts in the Council of Generals are looking to conduct a formal review of standard operating procedures, as well as rules of engagement. No longer will we merely claim to be a truly professional army, but we will become one as well. That works for me. Going to war with Kazakhstan. Fun stuff. Fun stuff indeed. Who's messaging me? It's only 8 p.m. where she's at, I guess. Artillery, let's do it. Gorky, let's do it. 2 million men, that's not bad. Rodion had heard about mine clearing duty before. He prepared himself for the worst when they were given this mission, just him and the company marching across a suspected minefield and clearing with blood and flesh. Luckily, it was not all that. The company was also given a crash course on minefield clearing practices. The officers also assigned to them an experienced ordnance disposal expert to oversee the whole assignment. The whole company was given what little protective gear they had, a few layers of flak vests, and these hot, heavy helmets with poor ventilation. Hell, the RPU had the idea of setting up a first aid triage just beyond the field where they were working on. Rodion cannot help but feel a little anxious with how well they treated his company for the job. The company was tasked with clearing a drivable corridor through the middle of the road. They're not worried about the anti-tank rated ordnance. They were much too big to be triggered by human prodding, and would have required a whole vehicle's weight to set them off. However, the bastards planted anti-personnel mines as well. The company was organized to go in shifts because they had the manpower as well as the physical strain of looking for such things. Rodion watched the shifts preceding him put on protective gear and sweltering heat, as well as a few daredevils who didn't bother. He was told that complacently killed just as well. The damn metal detectors gave out plenty of false positives, and more time was spent digging up loose shrapnel and random junk in the mines. Plume of dust and smoke came over. That was a blame boom, but I can't do much because there are people probably still awake or about to go to sleep. A plume of dust and smoke came over the front column of the deminers. A few men were shouting for medics. Rodion sprinted over to try and drag the injured further away from the danger zone. Men writhed in pain and their blood painted the dusty road. Rodion began to drag one of the injured away from the danger zone. Protective gear on the man would only slow the attempt. Another man came over and grabbed the wounded man's other arm and started dragging just as well. Rodion and his comrades were making good ground now. Just a few dozen more meters and they could get him in the triage. It was going to be a long day. So much for freedom from annihilation. That guy's totally annihilated. But it's time to serve Russia. After all of our hard work, my friends, it should be time to see the fruits of our labor. After so many weeks of brainstorming managing from within his office, Marshal Batov has expressed interest in having a personal inspection of a few places. However, in typical Batov fashion, he's requested that these are kept as surprise inspections. Very well. May he be impressed. We have 90% party popularity. Realistically, I don't know how much that would happen, but I'm not complaining. That's great. I'm enjoying this. We're about to invade Kazakhstan as well. You're done with that, so we'll ease you off. He's off on that. And let's go ahead and get these guys pushing in. The base commander thought it was strange that such a luxurious-looking motorcade showed up as training camp. He thought it was yet another general in the council with more time than sense showing up for regular inspection. When he saw the unmistakable greatcoat billowing in the wind, he knew who it was instantly. He rushed out to greet the High Marshal and stammered out, "Sir, sincerely surprised, and I'm not sure if your aide has told you, but this camp trained our ex-convict combat units?" "Yes, they had, and the surprise was hard to plan," the High Marshal replied as he shook the base commander's hand with a smile. The base commander took him on the tour of the whole base. They had a kill house to train for urban warfare, live fire drills with real ammunition, and an honest-to-God obstacle course. Special pride for our marshal were the field rations that the man had. No, they were not the most tasty meals, but they were more than edible and far better than what they had before, courtesy of some beneficiaries in Washington, D.C. All this made his heart swell with pride for his army. They had truly become a formidable fighting force, but would that be enough? They had not yet reunified the entire country. Muscovian was still occupied by the Reich, a truly terrifying opponent if there ever was one. Batov watched the men resting at the end of their physical training session. The men may have had discipline, skill, courage, but sometimes war was beyond virtue and skill. Sometimes war was about luck, and Batov wasn't sure he was an especially lucky man. All he and Russia could do was their best. And all we can do right now is cut it here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you as always for watching. Ooh, for the rest of this, nice. If you like this video, leave a like. If not, feel free to dislike. If you want to see more of this content feature, hit the sub button. I have uploads going up every weekday as well as occasionally Saturdays. If you have any comments, feedback, concern, anything sort, leave it in the comment section below. I read all the comments I get and appreciate any all feedback you might have for me. If you want to chat, play games, anything of the sort, leave it in the, check out my Discord if you want to send me back every month for Patreon. If you want to see me do stuff live on Twitch, all of which are down in the description box below. That's really it for now, ladies and gentlemen. My name has been DB333. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.